Our good friend Bret Baier from the Fox News Channel, the host of Special Report on Fox News, is with us now. Bret, you're on the phone, and I just want to ask you, is there a better than even chance that this phone call actually is being monitored by the Justice Department as we speak?
Hello.
Hey, Bret.
How are you?
I'm sorry, I was going to ask you, I said, you're on the phone right now.
Oh, yeah.
Is it possible that this is being monitored by the Justice Department as we speak?
I don't know, Brian. I'm hoping not.
What a week it has been where you found out this thing about our common friend James Rosen. He was apparently his phone was tapped, his cell phone was tapped, or I'm sorry, not tapped. I don't want to say tapped.
It was phone logs.
Yeah.
I mean, they got the phone logs for the cell phone, his office phone, the phone at the State Department, at the Pentagon booth, a number of different phones at Fox, and got the logs. It's not actually listening to the phone.
Yeah, but they know what phone calls were made to whom at what time, right?
Exactly.
And we now find out, apparently yesterday the president said, well, I'm a little concerned about all this, so I'm going to have the Attorney General conduct an investigation and get back to me in 45 days. That was in the morning. And then the afternoon, we learned through some reporting done by NBC that it was actually Eric Holder who signed off on this search warrant for all of these phone records from Fox News. So basically what the president has done, if I've got this right, is he's asked Eric Holder to investigate himself.
Well, yeah. I mean, NBC reported that Eric Holder signed off specifically on the affidavit, which in that affidavit it lists James Rosen as a co-conspirator in a criminal leak investigation. It also lists him as a flight risk in order to get, and James Rosen, Brian. I mean, you got two young kids. He's chief Washington correspondent.
Well, I've always thought James was a little sketchy, but I never thought he was a criminal or a flight risk.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think this is going to explode in the next few days, and I think it has been already. But I bet you'll have lawmakers asking a number of different questions, especially with Eric Holder running point on the investigation that involves Eric Holder.
Listen, Bret Baier, I mean, obviously this is an important story from our perspective looking in at what's happening with the Department of Justice and Fox News. But I'm curious if you can tell us or pull back the curtain a little bit. Has it been kind of weird this week, going to work every day and having all of this show up about your workplace? I mean, Fox News doesn't try to be a part of the story. You report on the story, and frankly, better than most. What's it been like? What's going on over there?
Listen, it's been a busy week, so we really haven't even had time to analyze, to think about it. But, Roger L. sent out a note, an internal memo that wasn't so internal eventually, and yesterday, and kind of saying we should be proud of our journalism. And it has been, I'll say this, it has been encouraging to read and see other media outlets and organizations stepping up and supporting not only James, but us.
That's unusual, isn't it?
Well, it is. Some of those columnists have not particularly been kind to us in the past, and it's just refreshing.
Can I ask you, Bret? I mean, you're right. It wasn't an internal email. Everybody has read that now, and a lot of people have read the Roger Ailes email. But beyond that, have there been any new precautions or any new procedures internally at Fox News that have been handed down by management in light of what we've learned?
No, we're still doing the same stuff. Not that I know of, not that I've seen. But again, I've been pretty busy. There hasn't been any mandates from up above to change how we're doing or how we collect the news.
All right, and then shifting away now, if we can take a look at the IRS story, because that is the one that seems to really keep bubbling up. Every single day we learn something new. Now National Review is pointing out that there are letters that show that Lois Lerner was absolutely involved in the scrutiny of these conservative groups. She took the fifth, yet claims she didn't do anything wrong. What are going to be the long-term political ramifications here in your mind?
I think this is going to last a long time, and I think, you heard the House Speaker yesterday start out his news conference saying drip, drip, drip. I think it's going to be some time before you get to the bottom of all these hearings. You have, she took the fifth. They're going to call her back in, and this is going to be a process. she's now, off on administrative leave with pay. It's going to be, I think, some time before you get to the bottom of who made the decisions that were made, and it was clearly outside of two guys in Cincinnati.
Which was the first story that we've heard from the administration, and that story keeps changing.
Yeah. Lois Lerner, of course, she's not going to testify, even though she testified, and now she's going to be called back when she's not going to testify, and then she'll be fined in contempt of court. But she, in the meantime, has been put on administrative leave.
Yeah, with pay, which is essentially vacation, right? I mean, administrative, there are all these lawmakers saying that she should be fired or she should be, let go or at least put on suspension.
Yeah.
But yeah, she still has her job, and I think you're going to hear a lot of other people called up around Lois Lerner to kind of set the scene of what was happening inside the IRS.
I when you have so many things sort of bubbling up at the same time, and really, honestly, you almost need a scorecard to keep up with all the different scandals that are sort of brewing at the moment. But what I like to do is sort of step back and take a larger view and say, is there anything among all these scandals that seem to have some kind of connection? And the only thing that I can come up with is they all seem to be aimed, the IRS against the Tea Party, the DOJ against Fox News, the attack against the whistleblower from Fast and Furious, people who had been critical of what happened in Benghazi, like the Ambassador Hicks. It seems that if you have some criticism of this administration, the similarity in all these things is you find yourself sort of under investigation or being harassed.
I think it's an interesting analysis, Brian.
But you're not gonna, it's not going to bite.
I don't blame you. Hey, Bret, I can't let you go without asking you the most important question of the week, I think. Bret Baier, can you please explain the Twizzler tie to me?
Oh, for gosh sakes. I got this tie. For some reason, the light hit it the wrong way. It looked like a Twizzler. And somebody started tweeting that, and then Twitter erupted with Twizzler tie kind of mentions, and then the company, Twizzlers, sent out said I was a delicious anchor. So my staff then bought a whole bunch of Twizzlers and got everybody Twizzlers. That tie, nonetheless, is not going to make an appearance ever again.
Oh, it looks so yummy, though, Bret. Listen, we're going to put this on our Facebook page so y'all can see Bret Baier with his Twizzlers tie. It looks like it's made of licorice.
I might put it on eBay for charity.
There you go.
That is a great idea. All right, Bret, have a great Memorial Day weekend, and thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks, Bret.